So welcome everybody live, or if you're watching this on the video, welcome to all of you as well. Special thanks for our sponsor, ASICS. And of course, we no longer have the former car company, Volvo. It's now Kia. I don't know if you noticed the finish line. The car there was a Kia. So they're going to be with us for the next 2 years and hopefully longer. Also, Easy Up Bars, and a special thanks to Electrolyte, who's with us so many weekends, giving out their drink, which is the drink on the LA Marathon course and the finish line. So that's what was in those little white cups that had colored liquid in it. It was Electrolyte. Anyway, thanks to all those companies. And here we go. Let's share our screen. And again, thanks to all of you for coming today. There you go. And I always like this quote: if you have a body, you are an athlete. Bill Bowerman, the guy who invented the Nike shoe, former coach at Oregon track field, famous coach. At any rate, that's me and the book I wrote. Okay, good. So let's talk. Basically, you've finished the LA Marathon. What the heck now? That's pretty much the topic for discussion. And we're going to talk about, a lot of people, I'm just going to mention this right here. A lot of people finish this overwhelming goal. For anyone who it's a first timer, you may not have even thought you could do this, and this monumental accomplishment. And suddenly, and all the work for 6 months that went into it, and suddenly it's done. And I'm reminded there was and some people get, really depressed after a marathon because it's over. All the work is done and nothing more to do. I'm reminded a man once asked my mom, he said, I have a great job I always wanted. I have this amazing wife I love dearly, family, kids. All my dreams have come true, bigger house than I've ever expected, more money than I ever imagined, and I am so depressed. And so she said, well, what do I do to fix this? And my mom said, find a new goal. And basically that's the answer. And he was elated and he went out and found a new goal. Unfortunately, that included having my mom's job, which he never really got. But a wonderful guy. At any rate, really a good guy. And I hear my dog barking for no apparent reason. At any rate, let's continue. So create a goal, create a new goal. It could be getting faster. It could be, and in order to get faster, basically it's increase your total volume of everything, which we'll go into in a little minute, but create a new goal. Simple solution. One of the richest men I ever met in my entire life, I overheard him talking to a group of people, and he said, when I was struggling, I started with nothing and ended up with, owning a steel mill in the 70s and extremely rich. And he said, when he was starting and when he was struggling and he was climbing the ladder, that's when he was happiest, when he had really made it, when he had really owned his own steel mill and everything that went with it. He said he wasn't as happy. Basically that guy needed a new goal. So you find a new goal. Obviously, that's not the answer for all depression. Absolutely not. But it can help many. So there you go. It's always good to have a goal. The happiest people I know have a goal. So this Saturday at our normal Santa Monica group or our normal Griffith Park group, celebrate. No matter how well you or badly you came in, you finished, celebrate that. It's always good to have a pie in the sky goal. You're going to win the marathon, a kind of a middle goal. You're going to win your age group or finish at a certain time. Also have that goal where that kind of lower level tiered goal where I'm just going to finish. And regardless of the other two achieving them or not, have that lower goal that you can celebrate. And that's really important to this. So, you need to have fun. And if no other reason but the fact that you finished, which is an overwhelming accomplishment, an extraordinary accomplishment for most people, Keep in mind, for you new marathoners, you are now part of a group that is less than 2% of our population who has ever completed a marathon. That in and of itself is extraordinary. I cannot tell you how many people I see at the finish line. They're doing this, and they're really angry and looking, oh, damn, I'm grouched. And, they didn't make their time, but still celebrate the fact you crossed that finish line, which is an incredible accomplishment. So Saturday, Griffith Park, Santa Monica, 7 o'clock, medal run, wear your medal. We're going to go for a short run. Then 8 o'clock, we have a potluck for everyone. Bring a little dish or a gallon of juice or Ralph's, half a pound of chopped salad or fruit or whatever, a dozen bagels and cream cheese or whatever you want to bring. Saturday in Griffith Park, 7 o'clock, medal run, 8 o'clock, potluck. And also Sunday in Newport Beach, and this is important announcement to make. In Newport Beach, not only Sunday at the Muth Center, M-U-T-H Center, you can look that up on Google Maps and take it right to it, at the Back Bay. The Muth Center is on the Back Bay. Free parking, especially at 7 in the morning. Medal run at 7 in the morning, and then 8 o'clock potluck. So for that one, leave your food in the car, wear your medal, and then as soon as we're done with our run, we'll all go back to our cars, grab our food. There's a picnic table there. We'll pile it on and eat, on Sunday. But also, you should know, if you're training for the OC Half Marathon, we are continuing our training in the Newport Beach group for the OC Half. We ain't stopping there, not until after the OC Half. And we are actually doing part of our training, a lot of our training on part of the course of the OC Half. That's where the OC Half goes through, is kind of alongside the Back Bay and that residential area over there for a big chunk of it. And that's where we run. So please join us in Newport Beach. You can go to the Saturday potluck somewhere, Santa Monica or Griffith Park, and then Newport Beach and do it again, another potluck and a little medal run. See, if you're so desire, absolutely, you're a road runner, you're good anywhere. Keep in mind also that the Santa Monica group does become the LA Running Club. If you want to donate and join the running club, please do so. They're a really worthy running club, and they continue. It's not as organized, with the signs and the pace leaders all divided up. It's not quite that, but they do have every Saturday morning, they have a run. They have Wednesday night track, and they usually have like a Sunday run or a Monday night run. And they will have different runs throughout the week that we have taken advantage of as road runners. Anyway, enough of that. So celebrate. That's important. Have fun with this experience at the end of it. I mentioned goal setting. There are certain things that you need in order to have a positive goal. And it needs to start with a positive mindset. Be grateful for something. Be grateful for the fact that you were able to complete a marathon. Be grateful for the fact that if you're homeless, you have a blanket. Be grateful for something, and then imagine, broaden your horizons, and imagine your wildest dreams, and then create a goal. And once you've created a goal, write it down. Statistics say that 80% of the people that don't write down a goal do not achieve it. Those who write it down generally really do achieve it. So there is that 80% rule. Write it down and tell others about it, but don't just tell others about it. The key is write it down, post it on your refrigerator with a magnet so you see it every day. Write it down, that goal. And finally, create a plan to get from A to Z to do your goals. Simply stated, if you want to do a faster marathon, like I said earlier, a moment ago, add more volume to one of my schedules. Just take the schedule you did before, add 5 minutes to every workout you do. Bam, you've got a plan for a faster marathon. It's not about more longer runs. It's about more general volume per week and per the entire season that you're training. And then implement, go for it, do it. And do all that stuff that's on your plan. Those are that's goal setting, really simply stated very quickly. I do regarding creating a new goal. You need to understand that as you start from couch potato, which we'll call zero, to, from doing nothing, as you increase your volume 20%, 40%, on and on and on, you have diminishing returns. So from 0 to 20, basically, you have an enormous increase in ability, enormous increase in endurance, enormous increase in speed, overall the distance. 40, similar, huge increase of 40% from 20%, huge increase. 60%, but a little less, 60%, a little less still, but pretty good increase. 80% less still, but then from like 90% to 100%, very little increase in, in ability. We'll call it in overall speed, finish time. So you may want to set your sights knowing this, that, once you've given it your all, you can get a little faster, a few minutes faster. You can, but it's going to be just as difficult, more volume still, and the returns on that extra time are not going to be as big as when you're really just starting out, or even, more and more and more. Now, your first time around, you may not be anywhere near 100%. You with every season, you build to a point, you taper down, then you build higher, then you taper down, then you build higher, then you taper down and build higher. And within each season, you do the same thing. You'll notice you build to a point, you taper and recover, you build to another point, taper. Well, seasons go the same way. So your first season, maybe you're only 60%. So you got a lot more to go before you really hit that peak or even come close to it. But also with growth comes accelerating setbacks, meaning from 0 to 20, the risk of injury is far less than when you get from, shall we say, 80 to 100%. Then the risk gets greater and greater and greater of injury. And most of the injuries are not, lifelong. They're injuries that are short-lived. They're just inflammation, and you take a setback and you recover, you get rid of that inflammation, and you start going again. One of the things I'm going to be talking about with recovery is strength training. If you want to bulletproof yourself so you can do more, so this curve becomes less important, strength training. Some of I happen to know Bob Forster, who was the physical therapist for a lot of the U.S. sprinting team under Coach Bob Kersey for like 40 years. And he told me basically, they have to bulletproof these sprinters because they'll get injured. And the reason that certain people have such an enormous longevity is as sprinters, because they're really pounding it out, is strength training. So that's one of the things you're going to hear me talking about very soon in terms of off-season training. And here we go, off-season training. So, I'm going to start with the idea of general health. And some of the lectures that I've been listening to, like YouTube lectures, I think his name's David Hope Haberman. And some of the other guys, doctors, PhDs, I think Haberman is from Stanford, if I'm not mistaken, at any rate, here in California. At any rate, what they're all saying is you need three things in terms of exercise. Obviously, overall general health, you need sleep, you need less stress, you need exercise, you need a good healthy food, all of these things go into general health. But when we're talking about exercise, you need three things from exercise. And that would be the endurance work. Each week, try and get in these three things. They're all saying endurance, which is the slow volume. I could do this pace forever, generally what we do on Saturday morning, although some groups are a little too fast, admittedly. But it's easy pace stuff, about a minute to a minute and a half, generally slower than marathon race pace for our run groups. Our walk groups are kind of like in that zone, a little fast, a little slow. What we also call zone 2, if you've heard that term, zone 2, is also easy pace. It's the term we use for zone 2. The other thing you need, the second thing of the three, strength training. You could go to the gym, you could do home weights, dumbbells, you can do lunges and squats. You're basically using your body weight to do this. You can carry around what we call fireman's carry, just carry around 2 dumbbells with your arms extended, just walking around with all those things you could do at home. Pilates is good. Yoga is good. Yoga is not as good with strength training, I find. There are some yoga that's really good with strength training, holding a really tough pose. But a lot of yoga is more about relaxation and flexibility. And you'd have to get the right yoga class to really build strength as opposed to, flexibility and relaxation. Those are wonderful things, relaxation and flexibility, but you also want to build strength. And sometimes, unless you're really doing a tough pose, you're not really building. High intensity interval training. Basically speed work, what we do on a track, threshold runs, 5K runs, 20 minutes at, pretty high intensity, high heart rate. We're talking about high heart rate, really, more than anything. Hill training, running up a hill really hard. Heart rate, higher heart rate. Any kind of high intensity interval training. That's the third thing that you need from exercising to maintain good health. Now, the funny thing is, as it turns out, those three things, including strength training, are things that we need to build for a marathon. Go figure. I'm going to add to that by saying also need like flexibility work, mobility work, again, strength stretching, foam rolling, the little, jackhammer machines that pound your muscles repeatedly. That's just similar to like foam rolling, that kind of thing. You can take your fist and pound your muscles out, or take your knuckles and grind them into your muscles. This is the same thing as foam rolling and all that. Really similar. You don't need to buy one of those jackhammer things for 150, $300, whatever they are. I do not own one, truthfully. I do own a $20 foam roller. At any rate, and I own, I think, a $60 foam roller that's much longer. But anyway, Harvard School of Health came up with a study last year, 2023, and Harvard, they came to a realization in their study that those respondents that exercised for only 3 hours a week had dramatic increase in the lessened risk of death each year, right? That's how they reported it. Lessened a dramatic percentage decline in risk of death each year, right? So fewer respondents died each year. And this was a huge study they did over several years. And far fewer far fewer of their respondents had serious illnesses like cancer and other life-threatening illnesses. So that's 3 hours a week. They found double that, like 6 hours a week, kind of like what we do. You get the picture? even more toward peak training weeks. And you dramatically increase upon the results, the benefits from the 3 hours a week even, which was a dramatic benefit over just, no hours a week of training. So, and beyond that, there were diminishing returns beyond like 6 hours that, okay, enough. It's not a bad thing, but there were diminishing returns. So what we do essentially is there's health. That's an example of health. I'm talking about what to do in off season. And essentially that equates to really good health. You want to build endurance during the off season so you can start your next season at a little higher level already. Remember I said greater volume? Well, slowly build up to that greater volume during the summer. Do a little speed work, maybe only once a week. 20% high intensity interval training would be the most percentage, the greatest percentage you want to do of your weekly, training. If you're older, maybe like 5%, it gets reduced. Really fast, high mileage, if you're going to get up to like 60 miles a week, 80 miles a week, 100 miles, then the percentage drops to 15% because the volume you're doing is so much that 15% is still bigger than that 20% when you're only doing 40, 50 miles a week. Got the picture? The other thing is I do want to say, before you do anything, in the off season, I know we do have a short little run this weekend. If it were me and I did a marathon, I'd probably just walk it. But with my medal on and all that, it's just a victory lap. It's fun. And then we all eat. But Saturday or Sunday, wherever you are, any of these 3 locations. But I would, you need to know it takes 3 to 4 weeks to fully heal those unfelt micro tears, right? You have these little filaments called, actin filaments, and the whole little machine there. They're submicroscopic filaments. You can barely see them with the highest powerful microscope. And I have 5 fingers. There are really 6 actin filaments on each side, and they come together with a myosin filament in the middle. All of these are solid beads of protein, single molecule beads of protein. That's how small these little filaments are. And they break up and they get knotted up. And that's why we use the foam roller to elongate them again. But basically, you need more protein and you need to take a little time off. It can take 3 to 4 weeks to fully heal these submicroscopic micro tears. There's just one little filament breaks, right? Molecule of protein breaks away from the other molecules and you get a broken filament, right? Well, you've broken millions of these things, if not billions of them. That's what bodybuilding is, by the way. Basically, the only thing that bodybuilders do is they break up these, filaments, actin filaments. They're all protein, right? So the bodybuilders eat more protein and they rebuild these things and they come back with more of these filaments. They get more of them. So these tiny little things, when you have more of them, your muscle gets thicker. That's what bodybuilding is. So it's not a bad thing to break up these filaments. It's actually that's all that bodybuilders do. They work to break up these filaments. So it's not a horrible thing. And it's okay if some of them are broken up, you don't fully heal. You don't have to stop running for 4 weeks or 3 weeks. I did actually, as a point, I would always take 3 weeks off of running. I would still swim because I'm a good swimmer. I would still bike easy. I wouldn't push it on hills or anything. I would do some strength training where I'm breaking up a little more muscle tissue to come back and regrow, whatever. But I would up my protein just a little bit. You don't have to go crazy with it. Protein, you're looking at about per body pound, you're looking at about half a gram. I know I'm talking about grams to pounds instead of, there's an easier way to look at it, grams to grams. But say per every pound of body weight you have, you probably want like a half a gram to a full gram of protein per day. So in other words, if you weigh 150 pounds, you want somewhere around, give or take, 75 grams of protein to 150 grams of protein a day to rebuild those muscle filaments, or maybe a little more on the high end while you're recovering to that, maybe 100 grams, at least on the high end of that while you're recovering the first week, then you can take it back down to 75 if you're a 150-pound person. So there you have it. Yeah, I do recommend. It's also not only good to take time off from running, it's really good to take time off to relax your central nervous system. One of the things that stress is emotional, stress is physical. When you're running, that's a form of stress. So you do to recover from that stress. But also at the end of a season, it's good to just take a couple weeks off, just to relax your nervous system, just to recover, give your brain, everything just a rest, to reset. I think that's a really good thing to do to start the off season. So there you go. And we already discussed that. Good. We're almost done. So yeah, it's not about the extreme long runs, especially not during off season. It's really about just volume. And I'm very open about this, I really don't like the fact that our schedules are beyond like 16 miles. And people question, well, we're only doing 20 miles. How am I going to get to the finish line? Well, think about this. By the way, I create our schedules, and I don't like the fact that they go beyond 18-mile long runs. And here's the reason. Think about this. If it's all about total volume, I mean, it's all about total volume, and you do these extreme long runs, like a 20-mile run, and it takes longer to recover after that 20-mile run for especially most of you, you're not going to be able to get like a run in Sunday. And on your schedule, it probably has like 4, 6, 8-mile run on Sunday that most of you probably will not be able to do because you're not quite recovered yet from the 20-mile run the day before. So, and I know all the schedules have this differently, but, think about it. Mathematically, if you do a 16-mile run Saturday, and then you do a 10-mile run the next day, that's 20 miles, 6 miles. If you do 20-mile run and nothing the next day, that's 20 miles. Well, if it's all about more volume, the 26-mile weekend is going to be more volume than the 20-mile weekend. Get the picture? What are we thinking? Of course, you're going to do the 16-mile run Saturday and the 10-mile run Sunday, because you can probably recover from the 16 in order to do the 10. You can even do 5 in the morning Sunday and 5 in the evening Sunday. Break it up. That's how pro athletes train. In fact, I know from coach Meb Kavleski's coach, Bob, I can't think of his last name, and he lives in Brentwood, and I've seen him a gazillion times. Anyway, amazing coach. Used to be head coach at UCLA. Meb Kavleski, famous athlete, marathoner. At any rate, he told me several times that he never had Meb do a long run. No, he just took, what might be a long run, spread it out over the entire week. Understand, pro athletes who are training to win a marathon will do like 140, 45 miles a week. Got the picture? And we're worried about getting in that 20-miler or 22-miler or 26-miler or whatever it is that's going to give us greater risk of injury and not really do more. The only reason we do a 20-miler at all is because traditionally most people don't have the time midweek, as do pro athletes who can train in the morning and train in the evening and train in the morning and train in the evening every day, AM, PM, AM, PM, AM, PM every day, and sometimes even run in the afternoon 3 times a day. We don't have that ability because we have this thing called jobs and children, and we just don't have the time to do that. So we tend to load our midweek runs where we can't do more than like an hour a day, if even, onto the weekend Saturday, where we can do it, build up to 20-miler. That's the only reason I grudgingly create those schedules that build to a 20-miler. So during the off season, it's not about a big long run. It's about just low heart rate, build more of that endurance that slowly. So many people train too fast to build endurance. That's a lecture we're going to get at the beginning of the next season. Tonight, by the way, is our final coach chat. I'm going to miss not only that, but the season and setting up water Saturday mornings. I will be in Griffith Park in 2 Saturdays from now, and then 3 Saturdays from now. I am going to be ongoing in Newport Beach, and after that, I'll be in Santa Monica this Saturday, and then every other, Saturday come 4 weeks from now. That's where I'll be. But yeah, I'm going to miss, the real training season with all the pace leaders. And my God, we have some amazing pace leaders. I'm hoping all of them come back next season. I give great thanks for all of those people and all the efforts that they gave to get all of you through all of those weeks of training. And again, congratulations to them and congratulations to all of you. And again, strength and stretch, low heart rate work, a little bit of speed work, high intensity interval training, get in some sleep, take a couple weeks off of running, swim, bike, little strength training, all of that. And as I always say, train smart and train to win, because if you don't, you won't. And if you do, you just might win, that is. And with that, I say thank you all for a great season. And I will see you all, hopefully, next year, headed for another finish line. Thanks, everybody. It's been a great year.
Thank you, Coach.
And with that, if anybody has any questions, I am still online and I'm still recording. So thanks to everybody. Gil said, thank you, Coach David. See you on Saturday. Great. Let me see if I have anything in the chat. I do. I have a couple of things in the chat. And whoops, here we go. Let's read. So, more chat is coming in. Here we go. Good grief, a bunch. Here we go. Orly says, thanks a million for a great season, Coach. Orly, thank you. Orly was one of our organizers in the Santa Monica group and helped Lucy, who is absolutely amazing. We owe Lucy, our coordinating administrator, the head coordinator of all this, a huge bit of thanks. And she is right now with Orly organizing a luncheon in about 4 weeks from now. 4 weeks from now, at a restaurant in West Hollywood or Hollywood on La Brea and 8th Street. La Brea and 8th Street is where it is. So you watch your newsletter because that's coming up. We have this great, restaurant that one of our pace leaders owns part of, and we're going there. La Brea and 8th in 4 weeks from now. Deborah, hi. Do you have a weekly schedule for training for the OC half? No, but I will. We're going to be taking our LA Marathon schedules. Take a week off. Shira, take a week off, at least, if not 2. And I will have some training schedules. Basically, like I said, we're going to take our marathon schedule, back it up to the Rose Bowl half, and then we're going to kind of build from that. So we'll have the 5 schedules, and I'll be sending out emails, posting on Facebook, our LA Roadrunner /group page on what's for next week, and all 5 of those leveled schedules, really 6. We do have a schedule for anyone who's doing 80 miles in a week that is never published, for group 0 and group 1A. There is actually a 6th unpublished schedule. So if you're really disturbingly fast, send me an email. I'll send you all those schedules. Anyway, that unpublished schedule. So yeah, Shira, I will soon. Mel, Coach, gratitude and appreciation for support during my second season with LA Roadrunners. Mel, you did amazingly well this LA Marathon. Congratulations to you and all of those people. It was the first time, by the way, we ever had a 2:55 official marathon pace leader with the sign actually finished at 2:54 and some change, actually in 1 second. 2:54 with that 2:55 sign, he totally nailed it, was Miguel Peralta. So special thanks for him. We have never had that before, ever in the LA Marathon, an official pace leader with sign. Oh, Robert, thank you. It's Bob Larson, of course. He lives he's retired, but he lives in Brentwood. So we pretty much ran through his neighborhood. Bob, I'm told, bike rides up and down the bike path that we ran on in Brentwood, quite often on weekends. So you might even see him out there. A famous, great coach. There's even actually a great documentary about him, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. Next year, I want to get a list of great running films for you guys to watch. Someone suggested that. We used to do that years ago with video cassettes. Now it's, of course, all online. And we want to do that again, just at least with a list. You can go to Netflix and watch all of these films online. Kristen, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you. Michelle, thanks for a great season, coach. It was my first marathon and I had a lot of fun. Mission accomplished, Michelle wrote. Thank you. Michelle, I hope you come back and good for you. Congratulations. That's quite an extraordinary accomplishment. Thank you, Emma. Thank you for such a great season. See you next year. Emma, excellent. And I hope to see you this summer for some easy runs and fun. Especially our potluck this Saturday or Sunday in Newport Beach. Gil, thank you, Coach David. See you on Saturday. Gil, see you on Saturday. And I won't say disparaging things about you ever again. I promise, Gil. You're an amazing guy. I really appreciate what you did for the LA Marathon as a pace leader. Great work. Thank you for going the open corral. Shira, thank you. See you Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday Night Track is ongoing year-round. Shira, thank you for reminding everybody. Wednesday Night Track at Santa Monica High School, 6:30 year-round. We're ongoing. We were there last night. Francisco, amazing season. Thank you for all the help and advice. Francisco, thank you. Kendra, I have another marathon on April 28th. I am in recovery mode as suggested. Any words of wisdom for me? Not sure what I was thinking. April 28th. I'm not sure what marathon that is, but oh, Mountains to Beach. You're doing Mountains to Beach. A great sort of slight downhill. Kind of like almost imagine. I mean, there's some little rollers in it, especially at the beginning. There's some uphill at the beginning, like the first mile and a half is uphill, but then it all U-turns, kind of circles around and then kind of starts going down. Imagine like running down Ocean Avenue, the entire way. At any rate.
April 28th. Hi, David. April 28th is also Big Sur, which I'm running. So
Oh, that's what you're doing. Big
yeah.
Sur, hang on, let me turn the volume quick. Big Sur is a real roller coaster ride, you should know.
I know.
Not an easy one. So do not expect to have a PR, a personal record, your fastest lifetime ever run.
Not at all. Hoping not to be swept up from the put on a bus.
Great. Yeah, it is one put on a bus. It is one of the most scenic courses you can imagine. It's really an extraordinary course. Stay on the side of the road, even run on the gravel to some degree where it's flat because you're on Highway 1 the whole way, basically the northern end of PCH, the extension of PCH, Highway 1, and it tends to bank back and forth, so there's a curve to it back and forth. So kind of, cross from one curve to the other, find your tangent and run from one turn you know, from one turn to the other and try and find as much of a straight line as you can and try and run a bit on the side of the road there because it is so angled and take pictures. Oh, there you go. Julie, who has run it, enjoy the strawberries at mile 23, she said. And the
How-
piano, they have a grand piano with a player in a tuxedo at the halfway point on a giant scenic bridge that terrifies me because it's so high up. It's a famous bridge. At any rate, I'm just fearful of bridges and heights, but that's another story. Taper as best you can, and then build for a week, taper again, and then come back. And it's 5 weeks from now. So you have 2-week taper, 2-week build, and about a 2-week taper, or a 1-week build and a 2-week taper, something like that. That would do it. You're going to need to maybe take it a little slower, that marathon, than what you maybe have just did on the LA Marathon. But
Yeah.
and be really, really careful. Get in some really good strength training and stretching this week and next. Rebuild those filaments and micro tears and all that, and come back stronger so you're not going to injure yourself. And hopefully that's the answer you need. If you want more, give me an email. Although I still have a pile of emails to get through. I apologize. I'm way behind on emails now.
No,
David,
you-
and Pace Leaders from iPhone. Shabnam says, thank you very much, Coach David. Shabnam, thank you. I appreciate that. Michelle says, I'm planning to run a half marathon in Denver in May. Do you have any recommendations of how to prepare for the altitude while training here in LA? I know that's so tough. The answer to that question has to do with low heart rate training. Or the deal with high altitude is all about oxygen utilization. You're not going to have as much oxygen up there. You need oxygen in order to consume fat. So those fat burning runs at real low heart rate, right? At real low intensity, which we call endurance training, we call easy runs, we call zone 2 training. Building more capillary veins and arteries, mitochondria, oxidative enzymes, all of those things are going to dramatically increase your ability to deal with less oxygen that you will have at altitude. And the higher the altitude, the less oxygen you will have. And the only way you're going to do that in LA, where you're at sea level, basically, really the only way you're going to do that is low heart rate training to build that oxygen transport system in your body. Specifically those things I just mentioned. That will do it. You could go up to, run around or hike around some mountains. The problem is in this area, the highest mountains are only about 3,500 foot vertical. And unless you really go for a drive for a couple hours away, then you can get into some serious mountains. If you spend 3 months at 6,000 to 7,000 foot vertical, you end up with more red blood cells, which you get from the low heart rate work anyway. More red blood cells, hemoglobin, which carry oxygen in the red blood cells, or all of that stuff. Yeah, just from sitting around, you get that when you're at 6,000 to 7,000 foot vertical. That's the optimal elevation to live at. A lot of people, a lot of these pro athletes, the idea is, and I've heard this from Olympians who are training, either in Big Bear or at 6,000, 7,000 feet in Big Bear or in Mammoth Lakes. They have pro training groups, Olympic level training groups there. That's where Dina Castor trained, was Mammoth Lakes. That's where Meb trained, Mammoth Lakes. And there are a bunch in Big Bear as well. 6,000. They live high, train low, meaning, live at 7,000 feet vertical, and then do your speed work where you can really run fast, which is low elevation. And that's what they do. Train low, live high. That's what they do. But if you're not going to move your home to Big Bear or Mammoth Lakes in the next few days, it's all about low heart rate work. There you go. Orly, is Smalls Miguel getting a sub-zero group? I'm not sure I understand that. Miguel has been with Group Zero. So yeah, he will again be with Min and those guys in Group Zero. They were there before, they will be there again. Carla, thank you for a wonderful season and all the great advice. Carla, thank you for being a pace leader in our Newport Beach group. It's been an honor. You have been absolutely amazing. And if you don't come back, we're going to drag you back, damn it. There you have it, Carla. Thank you. Paul, thank you, Coach, for a great season. I am already registered for Rose Bowl Half and the LA Marathon 2025. My wife, Julie, is cheering that idea. We'll definitely see you in the club next year. We start next year. We will all meet at the Santa Monica Classic. In fact, my next coach chat will be early September, talking about the Santa Monica Classic and the route and all that I did last year. Actually, to be honest, the lecture is already online. I'll do it again live, but what the hell. And then the week after the Santa Monica Classic, boom, we are back with the LA Roadrunners, and we trade off with the LA Running Club, who is going to pick up this coming Saturday. It will be the LA Running Club that we can all join for our medal run and potluck. We do this every year for a long, long time. And then Roadrunners will be back, and we'll trade back with the running club in Santa Monica. And we trade off with USA Marathon Training, kind of a defunct group, but you'll see their USA Marathon Training shirts in Griffith Park. So no longer Roadrunners in Griffith Park, but same potluck every week year round in Griffith Park. Same group of people in Griffith Park year round. USA Marathon Training will kind of be back for the summer, sort of unofficially. Anyway, there you have it. Paul, thank you for that, and see you next year. Well, it's not really, we're like September. Tracy, I had an amazing time running my first LA Marathon. Tracy, congratulations. Absolutely. I was so emotional when our pace leader and our group crossed the finish line all together. Awesome. I live in Arizona, so I can't run with all of you, but I have appreciated these coach videos tremendously. Tracy, thank you so much for that. Thank you for being a part of our world. And I hope you join us next year at the LA Marathon, even the Rose Bowl Half, if you're around. And I'm so glad that you had an amazing time. You are a marathoner. There you have it. That's something, you have a label that will never be taken away from you the rest of your life. You are a marathoner, Tracy. Congratulations. Gil, it is my pleasure. Oh, pace leading and running in the open corral. Gil, thank you again. I actually told Gil at the finish line of the Rose Bowl Half, I said to him after he finished, did I say, Gil, congratulations? No, I think I said, Gil, congratulations. But you know, we don't allow people with a nice haircut in the finish area. You need to leave now. To which Gil said, oh my God, I will leave now, because he had a really nice haircut. I just like picking on Gil. I'm sorry. It's a thing. I don't know. He's a great guy, amazing pace leader. Anyway, Coach, Coach, thank you for helping me shave off 10 minutes for this LA Marathon. P.S. My 10th LA Marathon, and with applause on that. Congratulations to you. And up the volume just a little bit on your schedule next year. Maybe even go to a higher numbered schedule. You know, the number 1 is a little less. 2, 3, 4, 5, they all become a little more difficult, a little more volume. Maybe up your schedule 1 or so, or just add a little bit of volume to everything you do. And you'll shave off another few minutes. Obviously, you're getting closer and closer to that, you know, diminishing return thing. But still, you know, probably not, none of us usually reach 100%. That's really, in a lifetime, most of us will never reach 100%. DJ, thank you, Coach David. First season with LARRG Park, Griffith Park. Tokyo Marathon mission accomplished. Cannot thank you enough for all your fabulous coaching. Well, thank you very much. I love coaching. Coaching I do for free. It's pouring water I get paid for. Anyway, that's the way I view it, at least. Congratulations on the Tokyo Marathon. I hear great things about Tokyo. Huge race. Basically take LA Marathon at, 22,000 people at the start line. At 26,000 at, they sell out, but only 21, 22 show up. And double that. That's what Tokyo looks like. Just huge, huge, flatter and huge race. Cannot thank you enough for all your fabulous coaching. DJ, thank you. Kendra, yes, mountains to beach. Got it. Yeah, there you go. Mountains to beach. Rebecca, Big Sur will let you finish, get a medal after 6 hours as long as you pass the last cutoff at 21 miles on time. Right. There are some cutoff times because they want to open that PCH, that Route 1 up the coast. And I do mean up the coast. You're on a cliff most of the time looking out over the ocean. And that's an amazing run, but not a PR course by a long shot. You think LA is hilly? Try Big Sur sometime. It's just rollers. Well, anyway, it's amazing, amazing course. Alan J, love you, Coach David. Alan, I thank you so much for all you do as a pace leader. You totally nailed the finish time, Alan, at a 4:50 finish time pace. Congratulations to you. Thanks so much for pace leading and Newport Beach and all you do. And I look forward to seeing you this weekend, wherever you are on Saturday, or certainly Newport on Sunday. And we start training in Newport Sunday for OC half. I'm doing it. I'm signing up, damn it. I'm using your, I don't even remember what it is, but I'm going to get it again and I'm signing up.
All right.
What's that?
All right. Yes.
You got it. You're on. It's on. Damn it.
Yes. We'll do it, Coach David.
There you go. And I'm not riding my bike on this one.
Yeah.
Rebecca, my time was actually better on the Big Sur course because easier to strategize with the hills. Yes, slower on the uphill, faster on the downhill. Longest at Hurricane Point before the half. Got it. Before you go over that giant bridge over the halfway point. Yeah, amazing course at Big Sur. Sells out very early. Everybody wants to do Big Sur because it's really probably one of the most scenic courses in maybe the world, certainly the United States. Tracy, I had an amazing time running my first LA marathon. Good for you, Tracy. Congratulations. I was so emotional when our pace leader and our group crossed the finish line all together. I live in Arizona. Oh, I already read this one, I think. Oops, I already did that one. Coach, we will be running Revel Mount Charleston tips for downhill running. Yes. Alan, shorten and quicken your stride. I'll show you what I mean on Sunday, but just kind of double time it. Just pick up your feet and put them down. Don't worry about pushing back as much. So you save a lot of energy. And basically, the more you pick up your feet and put them down, the more you're bracing yourself on the ground, and the more you're just stabilizing yourself, picking your feet up, and you're just rolling down the hill. You don't even have to use a lot of energy to push back, and you can get some serious speed with less energy going down a hill. Just pick up your feet quicker and put them down to stabilize that fall. Really, that's what's going on. The bigger, when you run with normal stride, you're falling farther than on a normal flat plane because it's downhill. You're falling farther. Anyway. Short, quick stride, just pick them up and put them down real easy. You don't have to pick them up real high. That's going to be more energy. But at any rate, Kendra, whoops. There we are. It was going to, if I was going to train at altitude around here, I would take the tram in Palm Springs and run around up there. It's 8,500 feet and has some valleys. Yep. Otherwise, maybe go to Mammoth. Living, like I said, 6,000 to 7,000 foot of living. That's where you get, just from sitting still, more red blood cells and hemoglobin and all that stuff that enable you to deal with the challenges of less oxygen at altitude, at high altitude. Training at 8,500 foot vertical, that's gonna really slow you down, make you sluggish.
Let me go back to your regular.
Certainly it's not a place you can ever do any speed work. You're never going to accomplish any speed work at 8,500 foot vertical. Might not be a horrible place to train, although your heart rate's going to be higher. You won't really be able to get in zone 2 training. I'm not sure I recommend that high in elevation. Sure, Palm Springs, running up in the mountains there, 7,000 foot is vertical is considered optimal. 8,500 would be like kind of diminishing returns. Below 6,000 would be diminishing returns. So there is that kind of optimal studied range of like 7,000 foot vertical. Kendra, thank you. I had amazing season, all of us, especially me. Hope to see you next year or this summer. Hope, Kendra, both summer.
Yes. Missed the most twice.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, coach. I forgot to mute. Sorry. All right.
It's okay. Alan, hi. iPhone, shout out to Gil, G4 pace leader. Thanks, Gil. You're the best. Cynthia from G4. Gil, there you go. A note just for you. And I know I insult you so often. You actually got a compliment, Gil. All right, I shouldn't say that. Thank you.
This is Cynthia. Hi,
Oh,
Gil. Are you still on? Is he gone?
I don't know. Let's look. I think Gil is probably on. Gil, are you still on?
Oh, he
Gil,
lost his voice.
got a compliment. Well, we'll have to tell him Saturday when we see him Saturday.
Yes.
I do not see him on right now. He may have ditched the chat, but anyway. Oh well. Yeah, we'll have to pass it along to him Saturday. Udi, thank you, coach. Finished my first marathon ever at 3:49, just ahead of your pace group with Alan there, or you were in the closed corrals. 3:50 pace group. I'm trying to think who's in the closed corrals. 3:50. I can't think. It's a blur. We had some like 80 pace leaders out on the LA Marathon and charity half marathon course. And we have never, ever duplicated the open corral, the closed corral paces in the open corral. 3:30 to 5 hour. We've never had that in the open corral before. And I'm told there was some confusion when like the 5 hour group in the closed corral suddenly saw the 3:30 group pass them by from the open corral, who started genuinely behind them. And there was a little confusion, like, where the hell did the 3:30 come from? We're 5 hour, what the hell? But what the heck? It all worked well. And Harold and Lisa is the 350 group in Corral B. Udi, thank you. Gil, hi, I lost my voice. Oh. Gil says thank you. He's on here somewhere. Gil is somewhere out there. So there we go. Let's see. So thank you, Cynthia, for the compliment to Gil. Thank you. Sorry, I lost. Oh, there we go. Gil and Amando, is Rose Bowl half available for registration? Yes. As a matter of fact, for all of you, you should know right now, if you get the Rose Bowl half and LA Marathon and Santa Monica Classic and all of that stuff. In fact, I think you can probably, I'm not sure about it yet, you can probably get all three together as a cheaper deal kind of thing. If you get all three at once, I'm not sure they have that up online. But right now, no question, the LA Marathon and the Rose Bowl half are as cheap as they're going to be. And when they start rolling out in September, June, July or September, August or September, when they have ambassador passwords, I don't think they rolled them out till September this year. Discount codes, ambassador discount codes. By then, the price of the marathon and the half marathon will be at least 10% more. And by then, you know, what good is the discount? You could have gotten it now for the same amount of money with the discount or less. I'm not sure if it's less or the same with the 10% off. Probably about the same, I would think. But don't count on that. So yeah, I mean, if you know you're going to do it, now is the cheapest for all of those races. I think the LA Marathon's usually, I haven't seen it yet, but usually the LA Marathon goes this time of year for like 160, maybe 170. I'm not sure what it is now. But usually it's always the cheapest, the beginning of right after the marathon, like the day after the marathon, it goes on sale.
Coach, I will double that. Right now, yes.
It's what?
Right now, it's the cheapest. I will double on what you're saying. So right now, the LA Marathon is 169. So as far as ambassador coach, it's not going to be given even weeks after Santa Monica. So right now, it's a good time to take advantage. So I'm second down on your you know, your input there. Yeah. Okay.
So LA Marathon's 169. Do we know it right now? Do we know what the Rose Bowl is?
Oops. Sorry, we just lost the signal. Go ahead.
Do we know what the Rose Bowl half price is right now?
The Rose Bowl price? Oh no, I just know the LA Marathon right now, but
Okay. I don't expect you to know everything. It's okay.
Okay.
Oh, Alan, why don't you know the answer to that everything? No, never mind.
I know I'm still on cloud 9 after this marathon, you know.
Yeah, me too. And yeah. And yeah, well, that's all I got in the chat box. Does anyone have any more questions or anything to say either in the chat or verbally? Just scroll your cursor across the screen and click on your mute button so you unmute yourself, or click on the chat box and you can type something in. Going once.
Yeah, I
Go.
just want to congratulate everybody, all the road runners. I've been admiring each and every one of you guys. This is Ambassador Alan J. Love you, everybody. Aloha. And, we'll see you guys at the potluck. All right, Coach David, we love you. Thank you.
We love you, coach. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you guys hopefully this weekend. And Alan, we'll see you at the potluck.
We'll see
Oh,
you.
Orly said, hold it. Don't anybody move. I have two people. Thank you very much. MP and Orly both said Rose Bowl half is right now $89. So those prices, the 169 for the marathon and the 89 for Rose Bowl, are only going to skyrocket in the next several months. So there you have it. Thanks, you guys. And Zoom user says, thank you for helping us. Thank you. And everybody, going once, anybody else? Going twice? Going 3 times? This is the end of another season of Coach Chats on Thursday nights. This is it, gang, until the beginning of September, when we will talk about the Santa Monica Classic and then the startup of the LA Roadrunners the week after the Classic. And with that, I bid you all a good night. Anybody else going once?
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Going twice? Times?
Good night, Coach David.
Good night, you guys. Good night,
night.
everybody. And we are out. Good night, everybody. Great season.